There we are, and we are live. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? So, let me make sure I am sharing this. I don't see it live on Facebook, but let's look at this again and see why. Oh, there it is. There it is. I see it. I see it. See it. So, what's up, everybody? We are live on Hits and Heels, and I still don't see it. We are live on Hits and Heels. I got a great guest for y'all. So y'all know I'm Coach Terry Bryant, and if you are new to my podcast, I am a football coach in Lexington, Kentucky. It's real football, real tackle football. I coach middle school football, and I coach a women's tackle football, the Derby City Dynamite. I created Hits and Heels with my co-host Danny Wright because we were both coaching football, and I felt like we kind of needed a voice, and there wasn't a voice for women that were coaching football. But my podcast has kind of evolved because I love sports. I also coach track. I've also coached basketball. I played basketball, ran track, played softball, played volleyball, and was an athlete. And so I love all sports. I love tennis. I love golf. I love, most sports, right? And so today I had the pleasure of having one of my sheroes. Let me tell you something. So here it is. I'm finally sharing it. There it is right there. One of my sheroes, Tamecka Dixon. So y'all know that we've been getting all of this press. The WNBA just started yesterday officially. The preseason started. My husband just came in being loud. Hey, babe, I'm live. And so the WNBA just started yesterday. And so, of course, everybody is talking about acting like the WNBA just started like yesterday, but it actually started in 1997. And so one of my guests today is Tamecka Dixon, who played on my favorite team, which is the LA Sparks, but she also was with the Houston and also with the Indiana Fever. Of course, everybody knows the Indiana Fever now because of Caitlin Clark and because of my girl. So, and they played yesterday and they lost, and it was a great game, but that's okay. We're not going to go with that. But Tamecka, I want the world to hear about you, hear about your story. Of course, shout out Rock Chalk, a Jayhawk. So we're gonna shout out all my KU people because I grew up in Kansas, and so a lot of my friends are KU fans. I went to K-State, but that's okay. I still follow KU, and I still love KU. KU gave my son an offer for football, so I definitely respect KU, and a lot of my friends are KU fans. So go ahead and tell us your story, and but after that, we're gonna go in. We hear your story. We're definitely getting ready to talk about this whole WNBA.
So yeah, my name is Tamecka Dixon. From New Jersey, born and raised in Jersey. When I was growing up, my father was an elite athlete, played basketball, and I kind of took on the likes of wanting to be like him. He never really pushed me to play the game, but just being around him and seeing everything that he put into it, definitely somehow rubbed off on me. So he would he was when I was really young, like 1, 2, 3 years old, my dad was playing at American University, and he was a all-time leading scorer at American. But in his summers, he would come home and he would take me to the game, take me to the gym with him. So I was like his water girl, his towel girl, his rebounder. And from there, the love of the game just grew. And so, yeah, he played overseas in Argentina, Italy, and France. And so I got an opportunity to see him flourish and grow. 10 games into his senior year at American, though, he did tear his ACL. And we know, back then that was kind of like a career-ending injury. Mm-hmm. But he was still, able to do some great things. Still got drafted by the Cavaliers, played a year or two in the NBA, and then went overseas and played in Argentina, Italy, and France. He, retired from the game right around the time that, I started to develop athletically. And then he just came home and, was around me and saw my career prosper and helped me to become the player that I did. So in high school, was able to, become an All-American in high school. Got recruited by over 300 schools. Chose the University of Kansas because of I wanted to play under the great Marion Washington.
Absolutely.
Went to Kansas, played 4 years there. Was named an All-American a few years, and then from there, right around the time that my senior year came around, actually, when I was a junior, we started to hear rumblings of there being a WNBA. But what a lot of people don't know is there was another professional league that was in existence called the ABL. So we knew we were going to have an opportunity to play professionally, but we didn't know about the WNBA. Actually, my assistant coach at the time, who recruited me to come to Kansas, Renee Brown, left Kansas to become the director of player personnel for the WNBA. So we knew it was about to become a reality. So in '97, I was a part of the first inaugural draft, and the rest is history.
Let's go.
Professionally, 13 years, and did a lot of amazing things because
2 championships with the Sparks.
So just some amazing opportunities just because I put my head down and worked hard and played the game, as hard as I could. So that's a little bit about me.
JoJo Witherspoon said Rock Chalk 6, Rock Chalk. I knew there was gonna be some KU fans that was gonna come on. I have lots of KU fans, friends that went to school because I grew up in Kansas, of course. So you played with some power. You played with some of the best.
Mm-hmm.
Like on your team, you had Lisa Leslie. I don't care how anybody not said. Lisa Leslie's got to be top 5.
Absolutely.
Got to be top 5, right?
Yeah.
And then in y'all's league, when you all came in, of course, you had the Comets, which aren't there now, that got 4 championships. So you guys got your 2 championships after the Comets. Where were those at?
Yeah, so the Comets won the first 4, and then us, LA.
Then y'all ran the next 2, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right. And so
I don't know what happened after that.
And then I was going to say, then I'm like you. Honestly, I don't know what happened after that either because I was a LA Sparks fan. So after that, I couldn't, and so I've always been a Laker fan, of course. And then, of course, when the WNBA came around, it was just naturally for me. So when it was time for me to pick a team, and then I saw who all was on the roster. It was hard, but it was easy for me. I said, well, I'll just go ahead and just stay in LA since I'm already a Laker fan. I may as well just go ahead and just stay a Sparks fan. So it made it easy for me to be, and I'm still the Sparks fan to this day.
That was a great choice. Great choice.
And so, but I'm also a fan of players, right? And so, of course, we had Cynthia Cooper and we had Cheryl Swoops and, we had Lindsay Whalen and, we had you. And so let me tell you about who I know that is going to blow your mind is because I'm from Kentucky, Yukari Figs.
My ace, one of my best friends.
Right. And so I've been trying to get her on, but she, because she's big time with her job, she's got to make sure that she gets clearance before she can come on my site. Because one of the things about Yukari is Yukari has champion that a lot of people don't have and don't know is that she's got championships on every level. Kind of like, she's got on high school, college, and then she's like you. Y'all both played for legendary Black female coaches. I mean, we only have a handful of them.
That's right.
And you both coached under, two of the legends. Outside of C. Vivian Springer, who else is there as far as Black female coaches that are on that type of level? I can't think of
in the beginning those were
the only ones at that time.
It was
They were the only ones.
Vivian Stringer. There was a couple more. You had a couple more.
Yes,
those were the household.
Those were
right. The household names. Now
Now you got Dawn Staley.
A lot more representation now, but back then, they opened up a lot of doors for what's going on right now.
They absolutely did. And so now that you're down the years down the line, and you're seeing this new generational talent that's coming in, how does it feel that you are part of the beginning? Did you grasp that, or when did it really kick in that you're one of the best? Like,
Um,
there's only a 1%. And I think people don't really realize this when you're on that level as a professional, because there's only like so many teams. I just saw we're only 13 out of the 36 girls that were drafted actually made a roster. So it's very difficult to make a roster. So for you to get to that level, when did it kick in that you're one of the GOATs?
I think I'm still kind of wrestling with that. You just plan to go out and do your best every time that you get an opportunity to play. And so, I really still haven't, really wrapped my head around it. People oftentimes call me, legend and pioneer and things like that. But I stand on the shoulders of a lot of women that didn't have that opportunity. So it's hard for me to grasp that. It's hard for me to embrace that, because I know how many women came before me and put the time and effort in and just didn't have the opportunity. So for me, every time that I, talk about it or, walk that walk, I make sure that I stand on the shoulders of some giants, and, I got to represent the game well.
And you've represented it well. I think that one of the things that I think we talked about it earlier, the concept that Asia Wilson brought up, is just how hard it is for us as Black women as it is.
Yeah.
And then it's hard for us in sports. It's hard for us to get the fan base. It's hard for us to get the recognition, the publicity. I mean, how has it been? How many years, and y'all just not getting chartered flight? They're just now getting chartered flights. Are you freaking serious right now?
Yeah.
And so so just stuff like that. And I think that I'm not sure how we can get to the next level. So how do you feel, or what do you feel has been missing that was needed maybe 10 or 15 years ago, or even like right now today, that still needs to happen, or that you still need to see, that I think could still take not just the WNBA or women's basketball, but just women's sports period, just to the next level?
Well, I think it's happening now. I think with the introduction to social media and athletes now having an opportunity to brand themselves, and now even in college with name, image and likeness, and all of those things gives athletes another avenue to kind of brand themselves, and they create their own followings and things like that, and so those people kind of want to follow them on on every next step that they create and go to. People are following them every way. So I think it's starting to happen now, where you kind of got that, and it's touching the WNBA, which I'm
excited about.
I'm definitely excited. I'm just a little envious that it didn't happen a little
Absolutely.
sooner.
Absolutely.
God's
We'll
time,
take it now.
right time, and so you can't. I'm ecstatic for the young ladies that are coming up through through these times now, and have an opportunity to kind of capitalize on that, and it's amazing for everybody, and I just hope that when they step into it, they step into the platform with the right head on their shoulders, and know that they stand on on the shoulders of some people that sacrificed a lot for them to be where they are. So I'm loving it all. I'm enjoying it. I'm embracing it.
Absolutely. So you spoke about that, I love your humbleness about when people acknowledge you as a trailblazer and one of the GOATs and one of the legends from the very, very beginning, especially with the WNBA. But you talked about how you said you stand on the shoulders of others. So who was around when you were coming up that you were able to look up to? What are the names that you can recall? that we need to know, or that I need to bring into remember, or I need to bring on my podcast, because I need to put them back in the spotlight. Of course you went to KU, so you had Lynette, and you always got a chance to be able to, because of course I reached out to her. She hasn't reached back out, but I got to have Lynette on here, especially after all the stuff where they was talking about how, Caitlin broke the record, but she didn't break Lynette's record. And, so we had all that controversy because, they acknowledged Tara Vanderveer with all of her, with her records,
right?
Even though she was in there prior, but then won't acknowledge Lynette with hers. So there we go again with that disparity, and everybody doesn't want it to be about black and white, but then what else is it? Why is it okay for Tara to be acknowledged with all of her coaching accolades when she was coaching prior, but then Lynette can't get all of her records combined so that she could be recognized in the same light? So who did you have? Who did you have?
So growing up, all my role models were male role models, because it was all that it was all that I seen growing up. My dad used to have he was a huge Laker fan, Showtime Lakers. Magic Johnson, Michael Cooper, James Worthy, Kareem. He was a huge fan. So, a lot of our time was spent in the living room, the big TV, and game days we were, but he taped a lot of those games too. So we would watch a lot of
go back and watch it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I remember probably when I got to high school and started being recruited was when I started to, schools would kind of mail like media guides and stuff like that. Is when I started to really like follow players. And we got a couple of regional games a year. It wasn't like, you wasn't getting all the games on TV like you
can now. Yeah.
It's like a game of the week or whatever, but it was all regional. So I saw a lot of Virginia, Dawn when she was at Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
But Dawn, I love Dawn. Dawn was definitely one of my players to watch, but her backcourt teammate Tanya Cardoza was like one of my favorites. There's Andrea Stinson out of NC State at the time.
Oh yeah, she was bad.
She was
I remember her.
My goat. Mm-hmm. So I started to kind of follow the names probably in high school when I started to get those media guys, and I'm like putting two and two together. Nicole Tunsil out of Iowa was another one that I followed. Tony, those Iowa teams were amazing. Tony Foster, all of them girls.
Was that when Springer was still coaching there?
Springer was there. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it really wasn't until then, and then obviously when I got to KU, and got all the education and knowledge from Lynette, that was like,
that had to be golden.
She was my goat.
Oh, I bet.
And she was so amazing and humble, and took the time to really like mentor and be around us, and I just soaked all of that up, but not only just her, but all of my vets. I came in at KU with Lisa Tate and Erica Muncie, Alana Sloan.
Oh, speaking of Erica Muncie, okay, so Erica Muncie is from Lexington.
All of them girls, they took me in and hugged me and showed me the way. So, those are all my goats. Those are all the people that I definitely aspire to be like.
So I'm so glad that you mentioned Erica, because Erica is from Lexington. And I had the privilege of calling her to tell her that we were inducting her into our Hall of Fame in September. Hey. And it was just, oh my God, it was just so emotional. Yeah. And she was just so grateful and humble about it. And we haven't been able to meet. I think we live like 10 minutes away from each other. We haven't been able to meet yet, but I can't wait to honor her. So I hope, if you're available, I hope you can come through for her.
Oh, so man.
You have to come September the 21st.
Okay.
Is the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame.
Very well deserved. Very, very, very well deserved.
Yeah, so we are honoring her, And we are inducting her into our Lexington Hall of Fame as one of the greats that have come out of Lexington. And we are so excited about that. So, dang, I should have. Yes, let me send this to her real quick.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let me shoot this to her real quick.
Oh man, that's amazing news though.
Oh yeah.
We have our KU women's basketball chat, and we're always in there inspiring and encouraging each other. And she didn't even mention that, so I'm gonna get on there. She didn't
tell y'all.
We'll put it in the chat.
Oh my God! Hold on, I'm going to tell her right now. I'm texting her. I can't believe she didn't tell you that. Yes, we are honoring her.
Nope, she didn't tell us. She didn't tell us.
Yeah, she didn't say nothing in the. Oh my God, she's a mess. I'm gonna get on her because I told her. I said, you know, I want you on my podcast because I want to be able to hear your story. Because again, you know, especially like right here in Kentucky, there's so we have the University of Kentucky right here.
Right.
But there's only a handful of girls that were good enough to even play at Kentucky, let alone play D1 anywhere else. So there's not a whole lot of, I guess, a lot of development, I think is what you would say it. Again, because you guys are just rare. So the fact that of course, I want to know how did she end up going to KU as opposed to going right here to the University of Kentucky or to WKU, or we had a couple other schools that are just close by, but you went all the way to Kansas. I mean, I grew up in Kansas. Ain't nothing in Kansas, right?
She went to play for the great Marion Washington too.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter because you're playing for, and I think that's the thing too. Let's talk about that. What was it like being able to see that your coach looked like you? Like, how important was that? Because you had 300 offers, 300, Lord have mercy. So how did you choose between Coach Springer, because I think that was it, and Coach Washington?
So it was there was a couple of other, like I said,
a couple other ones,
a couple other Black female coaches at the time as well. But I narrowed it down from 300 to 20 home visits. I took 20 home visits where they came in and kind of pitched.
Okay, yeah.
And from the 20, I selected. Back then, you only could take 5 campus visits.
Right.
So, I selected the 5 schools that I wanted to be a part of. But it was a process. But I could tell you this. When I chose my schools, when I chose my final schools, it was a family affair. So when coaches came in, they came into a family environment. Mom, dad, grandma, my grandmothers were there, had a couple of aunts and uncles there. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like a family affair. And everybody, sat and listened to, everybody. But the thing that kind of stood out with coaches, they fit right in. We ate, they were in the kitchen washing dishes. It was like they were part of the family.
Right.
That kind of sold, both of my grandmas, like, fit. They fit right on in. We know if we send you to Kansas that you're going to be good. So, it was just kind of that. It was a perfect fit, and I actually knew that I wanted to play for, a Black coach.
Really?
I knew that. So
why was that important to you?
Because representation matters. For me, it mattered for me even back then, and
right.
I knew, that they would fight for us.
Yes.
And so that meant something to me, even as a high school student. And so a lot of my final schools were schools that were led by Black coaches.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I think that's huge. So was there ever a point where you were looking at an HBCU because of that same mindset, or they were too small, or they just weren't on the level of the PWIs?
They wouldn't come after me, and I actually had a home visit. I brought in Hampton and I think Howard.
Okay.
But the consensus with them was that they didn't think they were good enough to recruit me. They didn't think that I would really select.
That you would select to go to them. So they
See,
didn't have the confidence that
so
because of how good you were, that they didn't think that they could live up to having you there. But that's a compliment, though.
It was a compliment, but
at the same time,
from their standpoint, it was like, we're not gonna waste our budget on, going to, a Tamecka Dixon's house when we know we're not gonna have an opportunity to get her. When the reality was that, I was
you were already at that mindset that's what you wanted, that type of atmosphere. And oh my God. So I wonder how many of those coaches regret that decision, or how many other great players that they probably missed out on because of that mindset, because you're already thinking, well, I can't compete with KU. I can't compete with I don't know, Tennessee and all these other powerhouse, Power Fives, PWIs with these huge budgets. Even here at, and I get it, because we just had University of Kentucky just had a change of coaches, and the coach that just came from Virginia Tech is amazed at his budget.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I need to do that. He's like, no, they're having to keep reminding him, no, you have a staff, or you got people that do that already. He's like, I don't have to do this myself. They're like, no, we got you. And he's just amazed, because of course he didn't have that. He didn't have his own trainer. He didn't have his own, the small stuff that you take for granted at a big school. So I kind of get it. But then at the same time, you just gave me an aha moment. And I think I want to now start reaching out to more of the HBCU coaches, because they need to not be afraid to reach out, because of the fact that when we get into corporate America, let me tell you something, when we get into corporate America, it is hard for us. And so for you, I'm going to go into the transition. How did you transition out of being an athlete? Because now you're an entrepreneur. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and I know if my daughter's watching, she's going to be mad at me, because she works in higher education. But working a job is some BS.
Yeah.
Working for somebody else is some foolishness, right? And I work a job, I call it going on the plantation, and it is difficult. I wish I knew what I knew now with my daughter's age. My daughter is 30, and so she's an entrepreneur. She's like you. She has her own rental car business. She's a realtor. She just bought her first multi-unit. She's now a landlord. She has a photo booth business. So she's doing things I wish that I had, or we had available to us when I was at the age of 30. Right. And so what was your transition like after getting paid professionally to do something you absolutely love doing, to now, okay, the knees is bad, and I just I just can't get up the court no more. So eventually, as a professional athlete, you have to give it up. What was that transition like for you?
So I knew it was time for me to think about retirement when I struggled to prepare to become, be the athlete. Usually for me, the best part about, preparation for the next season is preparation, right? I'm always excited to add another piece to my game to get better every year. And when that started to wane, I knew it was time for me to start thinking about a plan B. But the transition, I think, for any athlete who's done it at an elite level, and even if you haven't done it at an elite level, even if you're a college athlete, or and you've been fortunate and blessed to be able to play, at the collegiate level for 4 years, and then all of a sudden you don't get to that next level and it just abruptly stops. there is a transitional period that needs to take place. It is tough. It was tough for me. And I think every athlete kind of goes through
They
that.
go through it.
You know, we've been like dedicating our life and committing our life. For me, committing my
Since
life
we're at 2.
2 years old,
Your whole
you
life.
know,
Yes.
and then for me, thank God, I had a 13-year career, retired at the age of 32, but 32 retired, and you look ahead and you got your whole life ahead of you. So it is a tough transition. I definitely went through a couple of bouts of depression through that, trying to struggle to kind of find like where I fit, went down a couple of different routes, and fell into entrepreneurship. Started to own my own rental car business, so I fell into that, and that was kind of the thing that kind of kept my competitive juices flowing, because running a business is difficult, but you can also compete with yourself a little bit, and trying to be as successful as you could be in it. So I did, once I fell into that, I kind of found my niche.
Okay.
And then, the pandemic hit, and I started hemorrhaging money. So it was time to get out of that business. But for 10 years, it was really, really good for me. And then after that, I moved back into kind of like corporate American scene. Went and took a director of basketball position at a sports academy, did that for a while. And so now I'm kind of I'm transitioning again. And I think, just as athletes, we kind of gotta, you gotta kind of be limber, and flexible in your movement, because, transitions kind of happen oftentimes. So I think, and being able to, and living through those moments as an athlete, it's kind of prepared me for, having the flexibility and
Absolutely. And just going through the adversity just helps you to be able to go through the adversity a little bit better than maybe most people that don't. I think that's one of the lessons probably one of the biggest lessons that athletics kind of teaches you. So I know that, okay, so when I talked to you a couple of weeks ago, and when I tried getting you on before, you're coaching the AAU team.
Yes.
So now that you're coaching it, so what level AAU team?
Urban Legends.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
What age group?
So we have 2 teams. We have a 16U and we have a 17U. I'm actually coaching the 17U.
Okay.
We have a group of phenomenal young women, on their path and on their quest to get to the next level. And we've had a couple of tournaments thus far. We're kind of right in the middle of it. We're gearing up for a tournament this weekend, and we got a couple more lined up where they'll be playing in front of some college coaches and getting that experience. And so, I'm enjoying every chance I get with them, because they are a really good group of girls.
But do they understand who their coach is?
Yeah, I think they do. Every now and again, we talk about it, and they say things, or they see things on the internet and things like that. So, I think they have an idea of what that looks like. But, for me, it's just, I just want to impart whatever wisdom I can on them, give them the opportunity to succeed. But they're going to be fine by themselves. They're, like I said, they're a group of phenomenal young women.
So the recruiting process is totally different. So you've got the girls at that age where you're kind of helping them with that recruiting process.
Right.
So what does that look like now compared to when you had 300 offers? It's obviously way different.
Yeah.
So what does that look like now? And when are you reaching out, or are you letting their high school coaches kind of do that, or are you kind of doing that? Because of course you're Tamecka Dixon. Like if I'm a coach and I'm getting a phone call from Tamecka Dixon talking about, I have a player on my AAU team that you need to look out, I think your name would carry a lot more weight than an unnamed high school coach. What do you think?
Yeah. So I don't do any reaching out. I don't, it's funny because we just had a tournament in Texas, and I was able to, just come across a lot of coaches,
Okay.
that I played against, and
Yeah.
just from being in that, in that circle, and in those conversations, just giving them, bits and pieces of some of the players that that I'm coaching. And obviously I think there's a respect of both of us knowing talent, or
Absolutely. Yes.
knowing talent. So when I say this girl could go, they really
It-
know,
you know
they,
what you're talking about because you played
yeah,
against the best. So you've
right,
seen the best. So you
right,
know if someone can play, somebody can play. I love that.
right. So
Okay,
yeah,
so is the next level to go coach college or a high school team, or is coaching the next journey?
it's interesting that you asked that, because I have been, shunning that for as long as I can remember. No, I'm not. I don't think that's for me. Da 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 da. But this experience kind of opened my eyes. This experience, and I know I'm spoiled right now because, again, I have a phenomenal group of young women. They're all great. They're amazing young women, and they really make me enjoy what I'm doing. So it's opened my eyes, and I think it's just kind of God's way of nudging me and saying, you got a little more to offer in that department, and
Mhm.
maybe you should take a real look at it. And so I've been thinking about it, and so we'll see what the future holds. But
I mean, I just think that when coaching transitions in college, or even, I mean, I don't know what's going on with Kansas. I mean, would Kansas be a place that you would want to go back to be a head coach, or even just be an assistant coach? Because
um,
I'm just saying, just something to think about.
yeah, no, I got a lot of, like I said, I got a lot of friends in
Yes.
ranks at the collegiate level, at the professional level. So it's definitely something to think. But I think Coach Schneider over at Kansas is doing an amazing job.
Amazing job. Oh, yes. Yes,
Program.
yes.
Uh,
Hmm.
we are, in full support of what he's doing. Trying to bring that, bring the program back to, some national prominence. And, I'm
I mean,
enjoying.
it was hard to replace Coach Marion. I mean, Coach Washington. I mean, I got to hats off to whoever that followed her
Yeah,
after she
no,
retired, because those were some heavy shoes to fill.
heavy shoes and big. You gotta have some strong shoulders, boy. I tell you.
Absolutely.
But yeah, definitely. You coming after a 30+ year career.
Yes.
It's hard to fill those shoes,
And she was first class, and there was no issues, and she did everything the right way. And I just don't know what else. That's why I said I need you to hook me up. So tell her I want her on my podcast, because I want to interview her. I
yeah.
want her and Lynette.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
That's prime time
Well,
TV.
she's prime time now, but I love that the whole the shooting thing brought her back into the limelight, back into the limelight, because now
Absolutely.
everybody's back to talking about her again. And so I've definitely have been excited about that. And and she visited Iowa, and I love that she did go and visited Iowa and was there. And and I just love that. But my girl Trina is on here, and one of the questions that she wanted me to ask you was, why are people calling veterans haters when they're trying to give the new group of kids advice? So for instance, Dinah Taurasi, she just said during the broadcast during the championship, NCAA championship, she said, hey, it's, we some grown women in the WNBA. It's
Yeah.
not going to be as easy as you think it is. Caitlin played her first game yesterday. She had 10 turnovers. She struggled the first half. She still ended up pulling 20 points out, but I think she had 50 opportunities to get them 20 points. I think they gave her the opportunity to shoot it. She has the green light to shoot it. So Of course, I think she was just going to get it just out of GP. But, you know, when you get the opportunity to shoot that many points, how can you not get that? She's going to get hers. But I just think that it was a fair assessment that every level is different. When you're whether you're transitioning from high school to college, or whether or not you're transitioning from college, is definitely to the pros, especially when the rosters are so limited. You know, we were so excited about the 36 women that got drafted, and only 13 of them made a roster. And that tells you right then and there how competitive it is. I mean, how do you feel about that?
It's a cutthroat business. You know, you got 144 spots, and you got millions of girls playing and trying to come into the league every year. So it is like, you know, the toughest thing to try to make, and try to be a part of. But I don't think that the veteran players are hating at all.
I don't either.
Like, you know, this is.
I think they're being real.
Yeah, at every level there's progression, right? So when you get to the next level, obviously there's going to be a learning curve, and that's basically what they're saying.
That's it. They're not hating.
Yeah, it's no hate there. You know, obviously, you know, with Caitlin's emergence, and not just her, but Angel and Camila Cardoso and all the other rookies, you know, that are coming, Rakia Jackson, who, you know, I got to give that special shout out to.
Yeah, because she's over.
Rakia's mom, Karen, played for Marion.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
You know, so even though she had on those Tennessee colors, we still love her in Jayhawk Nation. But you know, they're just basically saying, like, you know, it's another level, and
it's,
you know,
just another level. Just be prepared. Yes, that's it. There's no hate at all. You know, and I felt like, oh my God, I was leaving football practice, and I got on my phone before I got on the road to come home, and all I saw was everybody going in on Caitlin yesterday on the social media. You know, but one of the funniest posts I saw was that y'all owe Diana Taurasi an apology.
Basically, because she said exactly.
She told the truth. Y'all were going in on her. Y'all were going in acting like she was hating, but no, she was telling the truth. She wasn't hating on the girl. She was just saying it's levels to this. And even at her age, she still brought it yesterday. Yeah. And you have to respect that. So Diana Taurasi is one of my husband's favorite players. He likes my husband's favorite players in the WNBA is Diana Taurasi and Tamecka Dixon.
Oh, Catch. Yeah, man. Catch is my girl too. Good choice.
Yeah. those are his. And even Cheryl Swoops, I think, yeah, you're right, Trina. Cheryl Swoops had said something too when they were saying that Cheryl was hating, and they went in on Cheryl. Right. But all y'all people owe Cheryl and Diana an apology, because they was not hating on these little girls. They was just simply telling the truth.
Yes, absolutely. Just doing what veterans do. And it's going to be a learning curve for them. It's going to be a learning curve for learning curve for the vets. You know, if I'm a vet, I'm going to keep it honest. I'm going to keep it completely 100 with you. I'm circling that on the calendar, like, you know, come on over here to wherever I'm playing, LA or Houston or, you know, Indiana, if she wasn't playing in Indiana, because everybody watching. So it's my time to go against you, and you are not gonna make no fool out of me on national TV for it to be the highlight for the next year. I'm sure every vet is thinking the same thing.
Absolutely, it is what it is. Absolutely. You know, and everybody's and somebody's already stepping up and saying, "I'm guarding her."
Yeah,
I got, you know, and so I love the competitiveness. But that's what's going to grow. That's what's going to grow the viewership, I think, is that competitiveness, because everybody wants to see who Caitlin's going to embarrass, how many points she's going to drop on everybody. But what they're also going to find out is that there are really already some dogs in the WNBA. I don't know why y'all people act like this is the first time the WNBA. Candace Parker just retired. Candace has been in the league for how long? And Candace has been the face of WNBA for how many years now?
Yeah, been some dogs. It's
been some dogs
since the inception of the WNBA.
Since day one.
Dog after dog after dog.
There has never not been a time where there haven't been a Caitlin Clark-ish type of player in the WNBA there has not one year where there has been a downtime or any type of stint where there wasn't any dogs in the WNBA. They've always been there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But we welcome all the new eyes. We
welcome all the new ones. Hey, we're excited for all the new viewers. Absolutely. We're excited for all the new people that are jumping on the WNBA bandwagon because of Caitlin Clark. I applaud Caitlin Clark for bringing all the new viewership that she has brought. I applaud Caitlin Clark for bringing the changes in the WNBA. I know the collective bargaining agreement is probably going to change because now the viewership is going to go up, and that should add a little bit more revenue to the WNBA. And so hopefully that'll increase some of the salaries that they will get. I think the only thing, I told you from the get-go that I don't do any controversy or anything on my part, but I'm going to say just this one thing that I was disappointed at was I was disappointed that Ice Cube offered her and didn't offer Asia or didn't offer Candace or didn't offer, some of these other dogs that have already been there back in the day that are just as good, a $5 million, $10 million contract.
Absolutely. I can agree with you on that. He got Lisa coaching one of his teams. He got, he could have definitely offered that, but he's riding that viewership into the WNBA too, I guess. But there's plenty of players that he could have offered that to.
That he could have offered, yes, absolutely. Right. So who did you who was, God, you had so many good people that you played with. Who were your favorite to play against?
I definitely gotta say the Houston LA rivalry back then.
That was so fun.
With Cynthia.
That was fun to watch. So the Houston LA rivalry was like the South Carolina LSU game. It was like UConn, Tennessee. It was like, now South Carolina, UConn. I mean, I don't know how anybody was missing those back in the day.
Yeah, it was live. It was, live. Yes. I mean, sold out crowds. W ain't sell out no crowds and things like that. That thing was sold out every time we came to Houston. Every single time. And vice versa. They came to LA, we was doing the same thing. So, but those rivals were some of the funnest rivals. Definitely the Houston LA rivalry. We had some good battles with New York too. Those were fun as well.
Oh yes, with Spoon,
with Weather and Crystal and Sue Wicks. I mean, just some battles, some battles. So it was some fun times.
I was definitely glad to see Spoon. So my daughter lives in Chicago, and so she was of course she was there for the championship game when Candace then won the championship. And so but she was so mad at herself for not getting season tickets because, of course, I think it's hard to get season tickets right now for Chicago.
Right.
And I have a friend that got season tickets for. I mean, it's just so many people right now that I'm of my friends or whatever that are looking to get season tickets where they weren't looking to get season tickets before.
Right.
And even here, so we're like 3 hours from Indianapolis, somewhere the Fever play. And so my women's team, we were looking at our schedule because I forgot where we played when they played, and they were trying to get tickets. And I was at work, and there was two guys that were at work, and they were talking about it's $750 for a ticket. And I was just even my daughter said that. My daughter said, "Girl," she said, "for $30, I was in there with a good seat, she said I can go. I didn't even get. She said I can just walk in there and sit wherever I wanted to sit most of the time. Yeah. She said, but now she said, oh my God, it's like a totally different. So I think that's the part that I'm so excited about. I
Yeah.
was excited when I heard about the teams are selling out season tickets for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but even in LA, when you guys got Brink and you guys got that's for Rakia,
Yeah.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
Rakia, yeah, they're gonna be fun. They're gonna be fun to watch
It's gonna
because
be fun. It's gonna be a fun year to watch.
it's gonna be
Period.
a fun year. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a fun year. Where is the championship game held
It will
this
be
year?
wherever. It will be wherever those last.
Whoever wins. So
Yeah.
they don't have it's not like they don't do
It's not a neutral,
like a neutral site. Okay,
Yeah.
they don't do a neutral site. Okay, gotcha.
No.
So it'll just be whoever that I mean, I think it's gonna be the Aces again, but
Aces.
you
tough.
never know.
Aces are tough. But in watching the game last night, I know it's game one, but Phoenix held their own
Phoenix, yes.
without Brittany. So it's gonna be a tough, it's not gonna be
But
easy.
but oh my God, but then Seattle has which one of the Gumacase is that she just left LA.
Nneka left,
and Skylar's there now, so they loaded.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see Skylar's transition because I think Skylar feels like she's got something to prove.
Definitely,
right?
definitely.
So that's gonna be
work with a awesome vet and Bridget Pettis in the off season.
Yes,
she I'm looking for Skylar to have a big year too.
Me too. Right. So I don't think it's gonna be a cakewalk for the Aces.
No. I think it's anybody's game. You got New York.
I think it's anybody's game right now. I think Atlanta can come up out of it. Again, New York could come up out of it. It's just it's just so many teams right now that I think are good. And I'm just excited that people are excited about going to the games. I see a lot of people on social media that are signing up for the WNBA so that they can get all the games and being able to get, and it's cheap. Oh, like $40. Did you subscribe?
I played in the league, and this is the first year I'm getting league pass. I'm going to purchase. So that goes.
You said you played it, and what does that tell you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And this is the first year that that is so funny. One of my favorite supporters is on Mr. Brown. So San Francisco is mine and was awarded a WNBA franchise, and Toronto just also got one too. So we got the Golden State Valkyries. They've already named them, and then they have Toronto. I think is coming. So I think Golden State is next year, 2025, and then I think Toronto is 2026.
Correct.
But then I heard that the owner for the Comets might be bringing the Comets back in Houston.
You heard that?
I heard that one. So I don't know. We'll see. I hope so.
I know it's been a lot of talk about. I mean, it's a story franchise. And,
yes. And I think that now that people have eyes on it again, I think that maybe they can, I would love to see them revise that, that program back up because Houston's popping.
It's a no-brainer to me. It's a no-brainer to me.
Like, why would you not bring? I mean, Houston is popping. It can support. I don't even know how they even shut that down. It doesn't even make sense to me that they even shut that franchise down like that. Mismanagement, is that what it was? Okay, gotcha. Okay, so yeah, so I don't know. Yeah. I'm excited about it. I'm excited. I'm just excited about it. College. I'm gonna tell you who my favorite Juju Watkins and Phil Wiley at South Carolina are the two that I can't wait to come up out of college and go pro. Them two are ballers.
I love them both. I really love Juju's game.
I do too.
Really love Juju's game. For Wiley too. I'm a Jersey girl, so I gotta definitely bring in Hannah Hidalgo from Notre Dame.
I love her at Notre Dame. Of course, I love
NC State. Those are my Jersey girls.
Okay.
Put in some work as freshmen this year. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's some good college talent coming up. And I think it's just a testament to, these girls kind of grew up watching, had an opportunity to watch the WNBA. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right. Like I said, when we were growing up, we didn't have that. We didn't have that opportunity.
We didn't have
Yeah.
anything. We didn't have that. So,
Right.
these girls are being exposed to it a lot younger. And now you're seeing the progression of that. And so it's fun to watch.
I love it. I love it. What did he say? He says Skylar Dickens challenged the league and her team for not allowing her time off after the birth of her child. I honestly, I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't really know.
I don't get that. I do not get that, because that is one of the biggest things as women that we have to deal with in corporate America and everything. You just don't, you already make a sacrifice as a professional athlete of delaying having a family, or when do you have them? I have to, that's why I want like Elisa Leslie on, because but to me, Candace was the epitome of watching it. We watched Layla grow up since day one, and and so
Cheryl was the first.
Cheryl was the first. So we watched Cheryl with little Jordan.
We all watched little Jordan.
We watched her grow up. He's everybody's nephew. Yes. So this is not like this is the first time a professional player has decided to start their family or have a child. And I don't understand why there wasn't something in place, or why there wasn't some. I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. So
I can't really speak to the particulars of that, because I don't, they kept it really, really hush hush, and then
they really did. It
wasn't until Skylar left and was no longer part of the team that she said anything about it, and so it was kind of I don't really know the particulars, but it just sounds, it's a really weird situation.
It's very weird, because like you said, she wasn't the first,
right? For sure. It's plenty of women that
plenty of women that babies that were in the league that took off a season or whatever to have their children.
Right. And it was never a problem. So
it never was a problem there. So why was it a problem for Skylar?
Right.
So
I don't really know the backstory. I can't elaborate.
Yeah, I don't know what the backstory is. Again, I try to keep all the negativity off my podcast. I love just keeping everything positive vibes and stuff like that, because I want people to embrace the WNBA. I want people to embrace women's sports. I want people to, because I coach football. I coach a women's tackle football team, and so of course we don't. We're way farther along, and it's been around for 25 years, and people didn't know that it's been around for that long, and so. Right. We're still trying to battle for people to come and watch us play, and and I get it that we're it's football, so it's not going to be very feminine. So so it's not, because we're hitting, hitting, and it's a contact sport, and so but it's so fun. It's so fun to watch. It's very exciting. It's very
I'm excited. What's really growing in popularity here is girls flag.
Oh my God! So I'm glad you brought that up.
It's crazy. In Jersey, it's crazy. I don't know what it is. In everywhere.
So we have one college here in Kentucky, and I reached out to the coach because I want to. That's going to be our feeder into our women's program.
Right.
Is going to be the flag football. We're going to be recruiting those girls that want to play flag and transitioning them into tackle football as they graduate high school. And so we have one college here in the state of Kentucky that has flag football. Wow. It's the NAIA. And so there's a coach out of Kansas. She's in Kansas, as a matter of fact. Is she at Pratt? She's at one of the junior colleges there. And, and we're on the minority football coaches association, and I met her through there because she coaches one of the flag. And I have been contacted because I'm one of the only football coaches here in Kentucky. They want to start a flag league here for the girls. Of course, I'm all for it. I'm from Alabama, and Alabama just sanctioned high school flag football for girls in the state of Alabama. And I think there might be 11 or 12 states that have sanctioned Of course, Jersey obviously must have been one of them. I know Jersey, Florida, Alabama just got it. And I think it's mostly the southern states. California is huge in California. And so I'm definitely excited about how flag football is going to kind of take off for girls. Because I'm one of those, I'm not going to lie. So I loved hearing about Tony. What's Tony's last name? She was like one of the only females that played football, because she was in the sports commercial when they did you remember the football commercial where
city.
Yes, she was running through the city or whatever like that. Right.
Yeah.
Tony Harris, that's her name, Tony Harris.
Yes.
Of course, I'm trying to get her on here too. I've been reaching out and I can't get her on either. But she's playing for a women's team now. I think she's playing for Vegas or one of the women's teams. Because I don't feel like women should be playing in the NFL. It's just we just can't compete with men on that level. There's no freaking way. There's no freaking way I'm gonna be a wide receiver or I'm gonna be a running back and Aaron Donald or Michael Parsons or LT Taylor is gonna hit me. Ain't no freaking way.
You need your own league.
We need our own league. And so we have our own league. And so I'm hoping that the flag football will take off, and then I would love to be able to see that transition into our league with the Women's Football Alliance. And actually, we have two women's leagues, but I'm with the Women's Football Alliance. And the one thing about our league is that we do have like a championship weekend where we go and we play our championship games on the field in Canton at the Hall of Fame field. And our championship game is televised on ESPN2, but that's like one of the only like nationally televised games that is played is the championship game. Okay. So
nice.
So I'm excited about that. And I definitely wanted to make sure people knew that. So as we're talking about the WNBA, look out for women's tackle football and girls flag football is just definitely getting ready to take off. I'm excited about that. So Coach, I'm gonna start calling you Coach because we're gonna speak that because I can't wait to be like, oh well, we got to Coach Tamecka Dixon has been added to our coaching roster, and it's gonna be a very exciting a journey for you, and I'm excited about that next level. Now that I have you on, we're getting ready to wrap this up. Is there anything publicly that you would like to address that you have never had the opportunity to address publicly?
Oh, you just let me see. I'm usually pretty I speak my mind. So
right.
For me, I think I pretty much lay it all out there, when I'm asked. So okay. I can't think of anything that I would want to say that I didn't already address.
Or that you haven't already. Okay.
I think we touched on a lot of topics today. Okay.
Is there anything I missed that we need to talk about?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it was, well-rounded, kind of podcast, and we just shot the breeze and talked about a lot of different topics. So it went well.
Well, thank you again for for coming on. Again, you're one of those people, like you said, that's on my list of if I'm looking at a top 10 or top 20 people that you're definitely on there, because again, I grew up in Kansas, so I was I watched you from when you were at UK. I was a LA Sparks fan, so I watched you from there. I watched your whole career, and I can't wait to be able to see what that looks like on the next level. So I hope I get to meet you. I don't know if I'm gonna be home in Kansas for the reunion, because hopefully we'll be playing a playoff game that weekend. I'm hoping, because that's like our playoffs for football, and okay. I'm hoping that we're in the playoffs. If we're not in the playoffs, I'll be there. But okay. I plan on my team being in the playoff. My team is off the chain, and they're really, really good. But if I don't see you in July, I hope you come here to Lexington, Kentucky, for Erica's induction into our Hall of Fame.
I'm gonna get on Erica. We're gonna have this. We're gonna have
she just texted me. She said, you must have said something because they blow me up. She said, you must have said something. I said, yep, I sure did. My bad. So she's gonna get on me when she sees me, but that's okay. That's okay. So I think Mr. Brown said women's basketball professional collegiate has been inspired by Don Staley. Going undefeated in this age of basketball is a great accomplishment. I think it's a great accomplishment because the fact that she's a black coach and a female.
Yeah.
I just I just think it was absolutely phenomenal. Of course, Coach Washington, you just can't take anything away from her. Coach Springer, you can't take any away from them. But the fact that they paved the way for Dawn to be where she is, and if we didn't have them, I don't think Dawn would be able to be in the position that she's in. I think the only other thing that I probably would like to say when it comes to women's sports is that I would like to see more women's sports being coached by women.
It's a valid point.
And I think also my thing, so I coach. I'm the only female coach on my women's tackle football team because of course there's not a lot of women that play. But my goal is I would love to be on either a head coach or on a team where our head coach is a female, our whole coaching staff is a female, all our team of course is female. But I would like to be able to play against a team that's also all female. The officiating staff is all female. The broadcasters are all female. And I think that was one of the things during this past NCAA championship that I love seeing the women being highlighted in those positions. They sprinkled in a couple of males in there, but I love the fact that they're doing a better job of having more women in the forefront in those broadcasting areas than and not just all the men and giving them, because I think we do bring a different perspective. So anyway, thank you again for being on. It is such an honor. You have no idea how geeked I am and how much I have been looking forward to being on. So my girl Cynthia's on here. She has a Sports Sense podcast, and I told her that I would shout you out to her so that you could be a guest on her podcast. There's like 2 or 3 other podcasts that
Let's do it, Cynthia. Let's do it.
Don't be surprised. Yeah, so I'm gonna be there. So don't be surprised if now all of a sudden you're getting all these yes, that you're getting contacted because they're wanting you on there too. Because again, you bring a different perspective. You're God, you're a legend. Stop being modest about that. Because again, if these, we wouldn't be able to watch Juju and Angel and Caitlin if it wasn't for players like you that were beasts back in the day that paved the way for them. They're standing on your shoulders, and we appreciate you for that. And we wanted to make sure that we honored you, and I hope that I honored you by bringing you on my podcast and making sure that the audience was able to see you. I'll try to get it broken up, and so we can get some snippets out, and so we can continue to promote it. And I hope I honored you by being on here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, sis. I appreciate it. And thank you for
absolutely. Yes, ma'am. So thank you everybody for being on. Hey, Greg Purcell, I see you. Bowers, she said auntie. That must be you. Are you an auntie?
Oh,
they call you auntie.
My aunt.
Your aunt? Your auntie says love listening to you and your love for the league. So that's your auntie. Shout out, hey auntie.
Hey,
Gina
auntie.
Davis. Hey, Gina Davis. Joycelyn. Yes, Joycelyn Casey. Thank you for coming on and being on. My girl Trina, thank you for being on. Mr. Brown, thank you for being on. Miss Joyce, I want to make sure. Hey, family. Hello. Thank you for being on. Thank you for logging in and supporting. I definitely appreciate the support. I want to make sure that I don't miss anybody. Mr. Wayne Thomas, hello. We see you. Thank you.
Peoples, thank y'all for coming in.
Yes. Alicia, yeah, she said that you were such an inspiration. She also said she would love to see you. She said she would love to see you coaching as well. I love that. You were amazing.
Thank you.
Appreciate the honesty and staying on the part of the success. Oh, everybody loved it. Yes. Misty, Bonnie.
Coaches. One of my big love to my people. They came in.
Ronnie, yeah, Brittany Major, she plays for me for my Derby City. She's one of my players, Derby City. Thank you for coming on. Cabo Mims, thank you, one of my cousins. Thank you for coming on. God, I was so caught up in our conversation. I just missed all of y'all on here. I apologize. Pastor Rose, thank you, on point with the racial disparities in sports. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. I think I got everything. My auntie was on as well. Mary Preston, hey niece. Thank you, hey, auntie. There's somebody else. Hey, Meek. Vincent Shelley said, hey, Meek.
Hey, Vince.
So yeah, so with that being said, I'm gonna log off, but I'm gonna end the stream, but don't log off.
Okay.
And guys, everybody, thank y'all for being on. I appreciate you. Thank you all for sharing. Make sure you share it so that if there's anybody that you think that should be highlighted as a guest, I know I already name dropped some people that I definitely have want on my podcast, because I think we need to bring the stories back to the forefront, especially people that have paved the way, and Black women that have paved the way for us. What did you say about Tina Thompson?
Tina, my girl.
Oh, she says, shout out to Tina Thompson, the most underrated power forward in the WNBA.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
she
absolutely.
She
wasn't underrated though. She was one of the GOATs too. She's one of the GOATs too. She's one of the GOATs too, coach. So yeah. So who is this? Love watching you when you were in Indy. Love watching you were in Indy. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. So good. So I'm gonna end the broadcast. Otherwise, we'll be here all day talking to everybody. But don't log off. But I will end the broadcast. Thank y'all, everybody, and I appreciate y'all.